What's going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck. All right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna go over this lawsuit that Squidworth, weird ass, had to force the village adults to file against him just to get some money back. Before I start, I want to thank all of you for supporting the Lady Luck Club. To all the members, to all the subs, to all those who click the videos, comment, like, share. Those who have given supers, cash apps, all of you. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. It does not go unnoticed. Shout out to all of the great mods that I have here in the LLC and to all of the supporters out there. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and clicking on this video because you didn't have to do it, but you did it anyway. And you guys know, listen, we got some good information coming through here. Consider becoming a member today as well if you would like. There are 3 levels. Make sure you click beneath the video and hit that join button after you hit subscribe to become a member here. There's some fantastic goodies that are members only that so far I've already put up a video. A couple I've allowed to premiere and be shown to the public, but one of some 48 documents regarding St. Patrick's restaurant that you're going to want to check out without my watermark all over it. Did a live stream earlier today, had more information from the FOIA request regarding St. Patrick's that you guys will find interesting. So make sure you check out the live streams. There's a whole playlist on Super Stupid and other reportings that I've done that you guys can check out. I do content on various topics. It's not just Super Stupid, but it is what the demand is for. Her and her dumb goons. And one of the goons being Demarkus Criggley Squidworth, aka Tentacle Legs, aka you weird ass sea creature. Let's get into this lawsuit. You guys make sure you hit like on this video. I'm gonna make myself small so you all can see the information here. This is something else. So first, I just kind of want to give some background on the lawsuit itself and just overall what's going on with Squidworth. He was arrested after being a part of a melee over somebody else's woman. That probably would never give him 2 seconds of a day, I guess, because reasons. She'd rather have a married boyfriend than one who isn't. I don't know. But there was a melee that occurred in Thornton Township a couple months back in February, and Squidworth was a part of it. He called himself trying to fight alongside of Siggy and ended up taking a phone. So he was charged with felony theft. Now, there is a body camera that I have reacted to and gone over of the actual arrest. And one of the things that I've noted, and many viewers have noted when we were going through the video, was that he was very calm. So, of course, did a segment with the Dear Christian, and I'm just giving you all some background on this. Where, in our opinion, we believe that the FBI wanted to speak with Squidworth. So, even though he was charged with a felony, over theft of property for a cell phone, one would assume that he would have been charged with aggravated battery and assault for being in a fight, but he caught a felony charge for theft of property over a phone. To me, that's just an indication that they wanted to, they have evidence to prove that he did it. But in the grand scheme of things, it's my opinion that the FBI is trying to get some information out of him. It doesn't help that he has lawsuits and other issues pending against him in a court of law. He was recently released off of probation from a separate criminal matter just a couple weeks prior to the melee. And then he gets in a fight and then now catches another felony charge. All over what? Someone who is under FBI investigation that's still not his wife or girlfriend. So Having seen the background, you all can see the case document. The case docket information is sitting, of course, with the Cook County Court. Case number 25, C is in cat, we're criminal, 66033301. The people of the state of Illinois versus Demarkus Criggley Squidworth. And he has a hearing that was allegedly occurred yesterday on April 25th. So I'm going to look up any updated case information on that when I get a chance to take a look at it to see what's occurred. But you guys can see here, indictment information was added to the docket from the clerk's office. He had a hearing yesterday. We're going to find out what's exactly going on with that. When is the next court hearing? And that was yesterday at 9 a.m., April 25th at 9 a.m. with Judicial Officer Pittman. The case originally had a different case number, by the way. And I knew because it was missing some components of it. It had the year and then it has some leading numbers behind it. But typically these case numbers, you see that alpha letter in there to kind of indicate what type of case this is. This is a criminal matter. So you either see C or CR. So this is the case number here that was newly added a couple weeks ago, I think. So now that you've seen the information about the case, let's get to about the felony that I believe is more so for the FBI to speak with him. Let's get to the actual lawsuit that was filed against him from the Illinois Public Risk Fund, also a part of the Village of Dalton. Case number 2024-3007837. This is Illinois Public Risk Fund versus Michelle Samuel, Demarkus Criggley, and Criggley Elite Properties Enterprise LLC. Because, nothing says weird ass company like naming it something that's basically repetitive. Criggley Elite Properties Enterprise. Like, is the enterprise needed? Yeah, I'm clowning it because this is just priceless. It's comedy gold. Oh my good Lord. And I don't even know if he still has his LLC. It may have been dissolved. I mean, you're getting lawsuits from, a local government entity. You probably are going to leave it alone for a while. So the verified complaint, the plaintiff, Illinois Public Risk Fund, ASO Village of Dalton, by and through the attorney James M. Messinio and Associates, complaining of defendant Michelle Samuel, Demarkus Criggley, and Criggley Elite Properties Enterprise LLC, also known as defendants, which is what I'm going to refer to them as, or I'll just say Squidworth, in support of states and alleges as follows: that the plaintiff, Village of Dalton, is a municipal corporation situated in Cook County in the state of Illinois, that upon info and belief, defendant Michelle Samuel, and he gave her address, resides there in Cook County, that upon info and belief, the defendant, Squidworth Elite Properties Enterprises LLC, owns a residence and his address there. So I'm assuming that Michelle Samuel and Squidworth are married, or that's his, in the body camera footage, he referred to her as his wife. So whatever. I'm just going to kind of go with that. Because I don't really care what their relationship is, but they've been named in this lawsuit from a local government entity. Upon info and belief, defendant Squidworth owns a residence in Cook County. Venue is proper. The plaintiff is authorized to file this action pursuant to Section 5B as in boy of the Illinois Workers' Compensation Act, in pertinent part that provision states, in the event the employee or his personal representative fails to institute a proceeding against a liable party at any time prior to 3 months before such action. I'm gonna make sure you guys can see that. Before such action would be barred, the employer may, in his own name or in the name of the employee or his personal representative, commence an account of such injury or death to the employee. On or about October 24, 22, the plaintiff, Illinois Public Risk Fund, provided workers' compensation insurance for the village of Dalton, who was the employer of Sandy Garrett. With respect to each of the above listed coverages, the said policy of insurance included the following: subrogation rights. When plaintiff pays a claim, an insured person's rights of recovery from anyone else becomes plaintiff's up to the amount plaintiff has paid. Plaintiff, Illinois Public Risk Fund, is the actual bona fide subrogee of Village of Dalton by virtue of the pooling agreement entered into Illinois Public Risk Fund and the Village of Dalton that was in full force and effect at all times relevant herein by virtue of his payment of claim number 22 CO 8K481578 under the said policy of insurance. So basically they're saying so far, Illinois Public Risk Fund is the company that contracted with the Village of Dalton as the company that would pay out claims for workers' comp. Pretty much that. Sandra Garrett, a police officer for Dalton Police Department, on or about October 24, 22, was summoned during the scope of his employ to the area, and they have an address for a call of domestic abuse at approximately 1:30 a.m. October 24, 22. Sandra Garrett, a police officer for Dalton PD, was summoned during the scope of her employ to the area of and a given address to investigate a domestic dispute. As Sandra Garrett began to step out of the house and go to her squad car, she stepped into a hole approximately 3 feet deep, which caused a sharp pain in her right ankle, her right knee ankle, which caused weakness and instability in her right knee ankle. At all time relevant therein, defendant owed a duty of reasonable care to Sandra Garrett as an invitee who was working as an employee of the plaintiff's subrogor. So basically, the plaintiff being the Illinois Public Risk Fund, it's a part that would be responsible for paying for the workers' comp claim, as they contracted and agreed to do with the Village of Dalton. As a direct and proximate result of one or more of these negligent acts and or omissions, Sandra Garrett was injured in that she suffered injuries to her right knee ankle. As a direct and proximate cause of injury, Sandra Garrett has suffered severe, extensive and permanent injuries, resulting in her inability to perform her normal work functions. Sandra Garrett was placed on disability, and plaintiff had to pay extensive workers' comp benefits to Sandra Garrett in order to cover the latter's medical costs and wages. As a result of defendant's negligence and the payment of the workers' comp benefits, plaintiff has been damaged to date in the amount of $146,102.41. So Illinois Public Risk Fund is saying, listen, Squidworth and so-called wife and the LLC of Squidworth owes us $146,102.41 because they are supposed to pay the actual subrogee for the workers' comp they had to pay out because of their negligence. The negligence caused by Squidworth and the Michelle person and that weird ass enterprise. And now they want their money. So the plaintiff prays that this honorable court enter a judgment in its favor and against the defendants in the amount set forth above and for any other relief as this court deems fair and equitable. This is the attorney for the Illinois Public Risk Fund. They want their money back because the hole that the officer fell into that caused the injury was due to the negligence of Michelle Samuel, Demarkus Criggley, and Criggley Elite Properties Enterprise LLC. Because what else do you expect from goons that hang around super stupid? $146,000. You would think that, this is why you should be knowledgeable of laws and regulations when you go out talking about you got a business. You need to be educated and knowledgeable of your responsibilities and having integrity in having this so-called business. And your negligence led to a workers' comp claim that was paid out, that they have the right to now come and get from you, Squidworth. because you are the party responsible because you caused the negligence. You caused the injury. This 3-foot hole in the ground. You talking about you have a company called something Properties Enterprise? Oh, okay. Why didn't you just fix the hole? That's a better question. But see, this is what happens when you're dealing with wannabe crooks and criminals. Criminals are stupid. So this is just another added measure, along with, I'm sure, what the FBI wants to speak with Squidworth about regarding his knowledge of what's been going on with Super Stupid. There's no way. This man has been in videos, going to meetings, talking about how he's a vendor, wanting payment for doing whatever, God knows. And when the FBI subpoenaed Thornton and Dalton, saying we need information on all these vendors because we don't see RFPs and contract agreements, Squidworth was included in that. And Squidworth, being Siggy's right-hand man and seems like best friend, you willing to jump into a fight to help him fight for a woman that he's not even married to. It's either stupidity, or you're a clown, or a punk, and no one should take you serious, or you two are very, very close. I don't understand why, some outside random grown man feels the need to have to fight for somebody else's woman, but whatever. And now you got a felony charge from that. Funny how Super Stupid and Siggy weren't charged with battery and assault. Nobody went to jail. Nobody was charged. Jedediah even went to the police station to file a complaint, and they didn't even want to take the complaint. So for those who keep asking, why wasn't anyone charged? First of all, that's the question for the cops. They chose not to pursue charges. But you had someone that was in the melee that actually went to the police station, live streamed it. It's in video. He tried to get a complaint filed. He wanted to press charges. And the police officers weren't interested in doing that. They kept saying, well, it's just a battery. See how that backfires, South Holland Police Department? You incompetent goons. You see how that backfired with dismissing Jedediah's complaint and failing to file a police report. You really told on yourselves and you made yourselves look dumb, and then don't want to go back and then try to get an AG to file charges or to pursue charges after the fact when you failed to even take a police report is laughable. Because that would have came up in court and it would have been a fair argument. Jedediah and his attorney would have said flat out, Your Honor, we went to the police station. Here's the video evidence. My client tried to file a complaint. Why didn't the police officers charge him and anyone else involved in the melee that night? If that be the case, they didn't want to do that. Maybe it was because they didn't want to lock up Super Stupid's dumbass for jumping in the melee, or Siggy, because they knew she would have a whole tantrum like a petulant child and then scream, well, you got to lock them up too. Everybody got to go. They didn't want to lock her up. So I guess they just decided hands off with everybody else. But you had someone that actually went to the police station and wanted to seek a complaint, to seek charges to be filed. And they just brushed it off and ignored it. I mean, there's a police officer in the video being asked if he was writing the stuff down. He's like, oh, my body camera's on. It's being recorded. Like they can't tamper with body camera footages. Like that doesn't happen. The incompetency of the police officers is what you should really be mad about. The South Holland Police Department, the dumbasses of the South Suburban area that failed to take a police report, but then wanted to turn around and try to get an AG to file charges against the person who was attacked and battered and assaulted, who tried to file a police report after they failed to even arrest anyone that night. So if you want to have a gripe, have it against the cops for being stupid. And now the FBI, because of that melee, had a way in to get connected with Squidworth. and he was charged with felony theft of property from the melee. Plus, now he's got another criminal case after having been taken off of or re- relieved from probation from a previous criminal matter. I mean, it's just like layers of stupidity on top of stupidity on top of stupidity. It just never ends. Well, we should have learned SpongeBob and Squidworth is not very kid friendly. Boy, I believe Patrick would just be very, very upset and be slapping him with some starfish hands if he could. You have been vehemently rejected by the entire SpongeBob crew. They don't want anything to have anything to do with you anymore. They're kicking you out of the Sea Ocean Club. They say you can go on somewhere and kick rocks. They don't need criminals down there in the bottom of the sea. All they want to do is make Krabby Patties. They don't have time for your nonsense. They want you to take your ass on somewhere. All right, you have to join another crew. Teletubbies might be looking for somebody. Who knows? Jesus. Just pay the damn money, you goon. It's so stupid. Pay the money. You're not gonna win this. All you gotta do is say, I need a payment plan. Just give me a payment plan. Jesus Christ, we can pay the money and keep living. Great. Problem solved. All right, y'all. That's the whole lawsuit. Squidworth is still dumb and wet slimy. And you guys make sure you check out the super playlist where I did the video reacting to the body camera footage of Squidworth. I think if you're paying attention well enough regarding Super Stupid and her other goons that are still getting charged with bankruptcy fraud and tax evasions and lying about their incomes, and they just stealing money all over the place. Theft of wages is what it's called. But what do you expect from stupid criminals? But they get caught. So, but there's a whole playlist content. I did react to that body camera footage video. It is epic. Y'all, we had fun in that one. I laughed. I'm still laughing. Squidworth is not very smart. You don't have a brain that God gave a Billy Goat. He beat up a TV, and I'm sure that TV feels so vindicated. Oh, Lord. All right. On behalf of SpongeBob SquarePants, Squidworth, kiss our ass and pay the money. That's all I got. You guys make sure you hit the like button and share this video. And subscribe to the Lady Luck Club and make sure you become a member. There's some great information is going to be coming up for members only soon. And I appreciate all of you who have become a member so far. I think I have about 16 good members. So as soon as I can figure out how to gift some memberships, I'm going to do that because I just appreciate all the support that everyone is giving here in the LLC. You guys continue to take care of yourselves and each other. Have a good evening. Lady Luck out. Deuces.